Hey guys, Token Vaping. Today's review is going to be a little different for me, so just kind of bear with me. It's a process that I'm not super familiar or overly comfortable with doing just because I don't get a chance to do it very much. It's not a juice review, so it's going to throw me off a bit. I'm actually going to do a review on the Limitless RDTA. It's basically a tank with a coil build in it. It is it's designed by Limitless Mod and manufactured by iJoy, so that's why there's both of their names on there. This is the package that it comes in. Basically kind of looks like the same package that the Limitless Mod or the RDA for them come in. And I was able to get a Limitless Mod, so I was actually really looking forward to something like this. I've been kind of messing around with them a little bit. You know, I've tried the OBS Creus, I've tried the Griffin. I was looking at a few others and going by some of the other reviews online, and you know, as some of you know, I do use the BFT tank by Omega, which is the same concept, much bigger tank though. But you know, it's Limitless, it's iJoy, both very solid companies, and I mean, I was piqued by the interesting concept and design of it, and then I had a customer come into the shop that I work at with one, so he let me kind of look at it a little bit and test it out and everything, so it just made me more interested in it. Like I said, it is designed by the Limitless Mod company, and it is made by iJoy, so it is available on both of their websites, and I will put both the links to their websites down in the description. So if you go to vaporhub.com, it'll be offered on there since that's Limitless's main website, and then if you go to iJoy esig.com, it should be on there as well. But it does come in this plastic case with the styrofoam layout and comes fully assembled in here, and then this space down in here is for the accessory pack that it comes with. And if you can see in there, with my luck, I would take it all apart, but I'll end up losing half of it, so that's why it's still in the pouch. It comes with 2 Allen key wrenches, a couple of extra screws, a bunch of extra O-ring seals to cover, you know, all the other spots. And then if you can see them right there, it comes with 2 pre-coiled twisted coils. I'll have to do a little more research onto it to find out what the exact gauge of those are and the setup of those, but I do believe they are an 8-wrap twisted. I'm gonna guess they're probably a 24. I've checked with a couple of other reviewers that have used this, and they've said that that's what they think it is. But as most of you know, I don't claim to be a master builder or a tricky builder or anything like that. I do simple standard wraps, so you know, I'm not trying to do anything fancy. I just wanted to do a review on it and just give my opinion, you know, something new, something different. So kind of bear with me here a little bit, and I will get through this, and hopefully I won't bore you too badly with this. Like I said, it was designed by Limitless, manufactured by iJoy. It is a Genesis style tank, meaning that the tank part is on the bottom. This is the post of the setup, and you can see my coils in there. It's just a simple 7-wrap 24 gauge, but it's got the stem collar here, and then the tank part is going to be on the bottom with the coil build being on top. So I will show it to you fully set up before I do vape on it to show you the vaping on it. It does have a side fill port. Overall size, it's 51.2 millimeters tall, fully assembled. It's 24.2 millimeters wide, so it basically would be classified as a 24 millimeter size RDTA. It has a 4 mil capacity in the tank. Now, everybody that I have talked to about this device, because of how much cotton you can use in this, It is technically over a little bit over 4 mils because of the amount of juice that the cotton itself will hold on to while it's still filled, so that you don't automatically get a dry hit the second the tank is dry. You just have to kind of keep an eye on it. But being a Genesis style tank, it's actually kind of nice. So when I put it all together, I'll show it to you as well. But as you start getting lower on the juice, you know, to keep your cottons wick, you can kind of basically tilt it or turn it, you know, to get the juice to soak up on the cotton again. It does have a gold-plated 510 connection pin, and you can see it in the top right there. Well, obviously not with the lighting. You can kind of see it there. And then it does have the peak insulator, but it is permanently attached. It's not removable. It's right under that gold pin. And I do apologize for the focusing issue. I don't like doing a whole lot of edits. I'm not super comfortable with them. I try to keep everything as real and up front as it is. I know some people say that it would work better if I do a lot of editing. I just feel for me and my style that the more editing I do, I kind of lose a bit of my style, so to speak. So I appreciate you guys bearing with me and dealing with that. Where was it? Okay. It's got the... And like all the Limitlesses, I mean, if you look, that 510 connecting pin, I mean, it does stick out quite a bit, which is nice. So you always have a solid connection. Safety-wise, you know, when this first comes out, always double-check everything on this, especially with the 510 connector pin. You know, make sure that it's not loose. Just take a flathead screwdriver and just kind of just gently just try to turn it. If it turns, just make sure that it's tightened. You always want to make sure all your connections and everything is safe and it's solid. Now, it does come fully assembled, like I said, but, you know, going from this is the main base of it. You've got your stem column, you have your base here, you have your velocity style 2-post build right there, which is really easy and really nice to build on. So basically, you're going to have your glass tank here, and that right here, once you put this on, this is pretty much going to basically show you that's pretty much going to be your tank reservoir right there. That's a pretty good size. I mean, it's not super huge. You know, there are a lot that have a 5 mil capacity, but like I said, with as high as this sits, with as much cotton as you can use to wick this, and then you drop it into your tank, I mean, it is quite a bit of juice. Here is your collar, basically, with your fill port, and it is a side fill port, so it actually does make it nice to work that way. Now, there is a little bit of a trickiness to getting this to catch on the threading to put this on. So for some people that might be a little nerve-wracking or a little bit of a nuisance, but once you get it lined up, it basically just gets all put together and it's pretty solid like that. And then you have your side fill port. So that right there pretty much is the tank concept, or the tank portion of this setup. Then you have the collar with the vent holes. It has the Limitless logo, and the vent holes are really, really wide. This does get a lot of air, and it is adjustable though. So do not worry about it being pretty much stuck together like that. So then you'll have it concept like this, and then you have your airflow cap, which you put on top. Now, I know some people use it like this. I myself don't like, you know, getting the hotness or the heat when it heats up on the tip. I always feel like it's going to burn my lip itself. So they have included a Delrin tip for that. So fully assembled, this is what it looks like. It's really slick looking. Basically, you go by there, and that's pretty much a Limitless RDA. But I mean, size-wise, and I can actually show you my Limitless RDA since I'm doing it there. You know, size-wise, it's not super huge. That's basically just taking the RDA and adding the tank to it. So, you know, a lot of people, when they look at some of the pictures, they look at it and they're like, oh my God, that looks so much taller. It's really not. Literally, it's you have your RDA here, and then they just added the tank. So I'm going to basically take this back apart, and I'm going to go ahead and wick this, and then show you how I wick it, or what works for me that I've noticed so far. I have been using this for about a day and a half now, so I've been I've been trying to get a decent amount of use out of this, and I've tried a couple of different wicking options. You know, obviously the first time that I tried this, I basically over cottoned it. And I mean that by basically when I did this, I made sure that the cotton went all the way to the bottom of the tank and there was a little bit extra. For some people that works. What I've noticed for the most part is that when you have that much cotton in there, especially once you start juicing it and the juice starts to soak into the cotton, it's going to fluff out and it's going to fan out. And you have to remember, the more cotton you have in that tank area, and when it fluffs out, the more you're going to plug it up, basically clog it up, so it makes it harder for the juice to basically flow through and up the cotton and out. Especially if you go to fill it, if you've got too much cotton in there, it's going to take a lot longer and it's going to be harder to try to get the juice to drain all the way down. And since this is a fully enclosed unit for the most part, you know, sometimes they'll say, well, if you take a really thin, you know, Allen key wrench or a pick or a toothpick, something like that, and just kind of poke it down into where the cotton sits, and just kind of let the air vent, you know. But I mean, with this being fully together, sometimes that's a little bit more of a hassle, because then you kind of have to take the top off and then you have to line it up so that you go down into the right channels and then you don't tear up the cotton too much. So, you know, there is a trick to it. And obviously, you know, not everybody's perfect. I'm not going to say that I'm like an expert by any means on any of this. I'm still learning as I go as well. But what I do like about this so far that I've learned, as opposed to a lot of the other RDTAs, is that the whole setup and then the coil building and then posting it and then wicking it, it really is a lot easier overall as a procedure than a lot of the other ones that I've had the pleasure of trying. Now, I'm not going to say that I've tried every single one that's on the market, so there may be another one that people will say is, you know, that one's easier. That one is more designed for beginners, or vice versa. If you're more of an expert, and they'll say, well, it presents a little bit more of a challenge, so, you know, definitely check that one out. But out of all the ones that I've had the ability to try out, this one so far has had the most beginner-friendly or user-friendly setup capabilities, to where I don't feel like I have to know, you know, 19 different factors about the device to be able to put this all together. So let me just show you where I'm at right now. That's my cotton. So right now, like I said, it does look like a lot. And compared to everything else that I've used, this is a huge amount of cotton. But once it gets all put together, I will show you, you know, where that sits at as well. And before I forget, the cotton that I'm using, which is the only cotton I use, and I use it in all my juice reviews, is Texas Tough Cotton. I'll put that link in the description as well. You know, it's not a pansy-ass cotton ball. It holds juice very, very well. It's a very solid cotton, but it doesn't have a really strong cottony taste to it, especially after you first wick a device. So that's one of the reasons why I really, really like it. So if you are interested, on Instagram, it's Texas Tough Cotton. So I'm just going to go ahead and line this up so that they're even on both sides, and then we're going to take my tweezers and I'm going to go ahead and just place it into the tank. Now, I have a feeling I probably over drooped them more than I needed to. The last time that I did this, I think I had a little less than I should have had. So I tried to overcompensate this time, and I think I left too much on the tank itself. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and trim this, because you see right there, and that's what I was talking about before, like right there, the cotton, it's not even fully, you know, compressed down, and it's already hitting the bottom of the tank. So I'm just going to go ahead and bear with me here. Like I said, this is still a learning process for me, so, you know, I'm still learning. This is basically trial and error for me, and that's the cool thing about devices like this, is that there is a lot of room for learning and trial and error without damaging anything or causing a huge issue or problem. But you know, there are other reviews out. There are other reviewers. You know, great people that are doing stuff like this. So you know, there's definitely a good source, a great source material, plenty of source material for things like that. So, you know, even if you don't watch this specific video, which I hope you do, but even if you don't, you know, there are a bunch of other ones out there that, you know, there isn't a lack of information, and the reasoning, the main reason for that is because as a whole, the vaping community, all we mainly care about is helping people make the transition over to vaping. And in order to do that, or the best way to do that, is to make sure that everybody as a whole, when you switch over, you are as well informed as possible, whether it's how to operate a device, whether it's the flavor of a line, whether the quality of a product, whether it's juice or a device, the full operations of that, the setup of it, you know, the usage of it, and all the safety aspects of it. You know, if nothing else, the number one thing that we all concern ourselves with is safety and your health. Beyond that, you know, the rest of it all comes down to your vaping preference and your style. So, you know, it will benefit you to know more than less. And I know that they say that with most things, but this is one of those things that you will never ever be at a point where you're going to say you know everything or that you have too much information. There's no such thing, especially when it comes to safety and health. So, I think I did a little bit better on this one. But that's about where it's at right now. I've got my cotton right in there, and it's kind of hard to see because of the glass, but it basically, the tips of the cotton come right to the top of where you see the black on the sleeve. So that should work out better than my last wicking, where I'll have enough for when the juice starts to get low, because it will still be long enough to reach down into the extra base, and it won't be too short, but it won't be too long that it'll end up flooding or clogging up my tank. So now at this stage, this really comes down to a user preference thing. I've tried both ways and I haven't really seen a huge difference for me, with the exception of one area. What am I going to vape on? That won't work. Okay. Some people will say to pre-juice your cotton completely before you put the collar with the fill port hole on it first. And then some people will argue that if you do that, you end up over soaking the cotton, and then it just makes a big gloppy mess when you try to put everything together. I've tried both. I haven't really seen a huge difference between the two, pro or cons for it. So I've gotten to the point of where I will half juice it, just enough. Mainly, I will juice mainly the top part of the cotton, and where it sits in the grooves to make them pack in a little bit better into the grooves, so that I can screw that collar on. But the bottom I'm not as worried about, because when you fill it, it automatically is going to go all there anyway. So if you bear with me here a quick minute, and with the lovely use of video editing, I could speed this up. But again, like I said, this really doesn't take all that long as compared to me just rambling about random stuff. So real quick, while I am filling this, I have become a big fan of the Limitless products, as well as stuff that iJoy has partaken in to help make and put out into the field for vapors. But real fast, while I'm doing this, like I said, I just want to take a second and thank each and every person who has ever followed my page, liked any of my pictures, sent me any type of constructive criticism or nice thing, just whether it's a hey, nice job, or nice picture, things like that. Everybody that has watched any of my videos, you know, even if you don't like something specific about it, I'm very grateful that you took a few minutes out of your day to watch my videos. I started doing this, you know, just like everybody else. I was trying to switch over and find a better alternative to smoking, and this was the only thing that I took to, and without question just took to. So I support it 100%. I believe in it 100%. So anytime anybody has ever asked, you know, well, do you feel that there is anything about it that you didn't like or don't want to talk about or you don't believe in? Absolutely not. I believe in vaping 100% with all my heart. So, real quick, and I don't want to go too much into it because there are multiple places that you can go to for information that are better informed, and the one thing I do not like doing is misinforming anybody about anything. So if I don't fully know what it is I'm trying to tell you, I will not push it or try to make a big spiel out of it. But if you have not at this point, there are multiple advocacy sites out there, like SAFTA and CASA and things like that, that you can become a part of to help push vaping regulations and vaping rights and try to help get the FDA to realize that what they're doing isn't the best way to handle it. For those of you that are, we thank you very much as a whole for a vaping community. It's great to see everybody's joining in and fighting and coming together as a vaping family, so to speak. If you have not yet, there are many vapors, many forums, many pages on there that you can definitely link up to find out about them. So definitely find out about that as best you can. So I wicked the top of my, well, obviously I wicked it, sorry. I juiced the top of my cotton, and I did basically work them down into the grooves set into the base of this thing. So it will compact it a little bit better. So then you take your fill hole collar, and there is a wider side and a smaller side. So just make sure it will obviously only attach one way. So just make sure you've got that on, and then you just kind of, as I'm just doing here, I'm just kind of working it a little bit till I feel it catch the teeth on the threading. It does take a little bit, like I said, and some people, you know, they'll kind of look at it and question it or say that it's a little annoying or it's a little bit more of a hassle type thing. It's not the easiest thing in the world. It's really not. I mean, and like I said, it may just be because I haven't used it enough to where I can get it down pat and just be able to hit it every single time. But, you know, again, like I said, with everything else, it is a learning process. But once you find it, it pretty much is instantaneous. There isn't an issue with that. And then you just make sure that it's on tight. It doesn't have to be super snug. It doesn't have to be to the point of where it feels like you're gonna it's gonna crack the glass or anything like that. And I do need to wrap this up. I do apologize. It took a little bit longer than I thought I was going to. And then one thing I like to use, which I did not leave out, is I use a pick that I got actually out of an arts and crafts section, but it's just basically a solid handle with a thin metal pick. And in the fill port, basically, since it's all in there, I use that, and it makes it a lot easier just to spread the cotton open a little bit so that when I do the filling of the juice, that there is room and space in there and it's not automatically clogged up. And it works really, really nicely. Does not cause, you know, any kind of hold up, or it doesn't ruin anything really, and it doesn't get in the way of a whole lot. So I do have the fill port open and I do have the cotton pulled out. So like I said, I'm going to go ahead and speed this up a little bit, just so I can get this finished and show you guys the vaping on this. So again, like I said, I do thank you for bearing with me here and helping me work through my trial and error of doing a review on a device actually. And having the side fill port is actually really nice. I think it is. It definitely is easier to work with, and from what a lot of people that I've talked to have already told me, that once the top part of this is put on, and you have this all fully put together, just need to open that up a little bit and get a little bit of air in there. Once you have this all put together and the top cap on, it's virtually really I don't want to say it's 100% leak proof. I will never ever say that about a device, because as soon as I say it, somebody's going to try something and then tell me that it's not and that it actually leaked on them. But from what a lot of people have told me, and especially with it being a Genesis style, you can basically, like, and this is what I was talking about, when you get low on the juice in the tank and you basically just trying to use it all up right away, you can basically take this, tilt it like that, and then get the juice up on the tank or on the cotton. So as you can see right there, with the way that the cotton is, you can still see a little bit of spacing underneath, and that works for the most part. That's worked the best for me that I've discovered. But I'm going to go ahead and vape this real fast just to show you. And I'm using my disguiser from Movekin. Great company, solid device. It's really cool because it does have a hidden back to it as well. But I've already done a review for that. You can check that out. I'll put the link for the device in my description as well. But that's the device I have this on. I am running it at 75 watts, and this is ohming out at a 0.33. So, real fast, RDTA from Limitless and iJoy. I'm going to show you the vape on this. Really, really good clouds, really solid vape. Flavor is outstanding. You get a full, solid, full flavored vape out of this, no matter what you're vaping on. So, in a quick wrap up, and I do apologize, this went a little bit longer than I was expecting. Thank you guys for putting up with me for this video and listening through this. Limitless RDTA, it's an amazing, amazing device. Very solid. I am very happy that I purchased this. Great device. I will probably be using this quite a bit. If you have not gotten something of this type, or you are trying to figure out which one to get, I definitely suggest having this one in your collection. Doesn't have to be the only one, but you will find, compared to some of the other ones, they definitely got it right on this one for sure. Links will be in the description where you can purchase this at vaporhub.com or iJoy.com. Guys, thank you so much. I'm Token Vaping here on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest. Definitely hit me up if you have any questions, anything I can do to enhance your vaping experiences. That's all that I'm about. Definitely check out Limitless, VaporHub, and iJoy on Instagram, and I believe they all have Facebooks as well. So until next time, thank you guys again. Vape on, vape strong. Have a good night.